Hello everyone, welcome to Dynamic Form Studio. My name is Leandro and I'll be sharing with you today our first lesson on how to sculpt a collectible figurine, a collectible figure, collectible statue, whatever you want to call it. Um, I I just want to welcome everybody and say thank you to all of you that are watching, and also thank you to those that are willing to contribute and help me here on Patreon. So that's awesome. If you can help, anything helps. I will be extremely grateful for whatever you can help me with. The intention is to keep this going, have some means to keep bringing more and more videos for you guys and learn more and more techniques together. I want to talk about the previous video. Was a video where I showed some of the tools that I use and the material that we're going to use to sculpt with, which is Castelline. We decided to go with this one this time. I've never used this material, it's the first time. So I bought two of this, and it's like a 2.5 pound block of wax, hard wax. You can see it's very, very hard. So I went with this clay because I like to be able to eliminate the need of armature. Okay, so we're gonna try this together. I've never used this material. We'll see how it behaves. We'll see what the challenges are with it. We'll see if it works at all. It may not work at all, and we may have to scratch this whole thing and start all over, but hopefully it won't be the case, right? What you're gonna need is a template this time. Like, here's our subject. Ultraman is what we're gonna be sculpting. I want to talk about the reason why I chose this character. I chose it because it's a little bit, in my view, it looks a little bit more simple. It's simple on its anatomy. It is a little more simple on the head because he has a helmet. So I think it will be a little bit easier for people to follow along and get the shapes right with me. I know how difficult it is to sculpt precise anatomy and you know, faces and likenesses. It's really hard in the beginning, but it's not impossible, of course. But we're gonna go with this character, not just because I think it's a little bit more straightforward, but I love this character as well. It was part of my childhood, and I think you guys are gonna like it once we have this all said and done. On this course, you will be able to start from beginning to finish until we have the sculpture completely finished, painted, and then ready to be displayed. So that's what we're going to do. There are multiple different versions of Ultraman. We can decide which one we want to go with later on. Right now is just to have an idea of your figure. So if you can get a printout like this or something similar, if you don't have like a long print with long paper like this one, you can definitely just do 2 pages, you know, and then just split the image in 2 pages, put it together, and then use it like that. That works as well. And this is roughly 14 inches tall. I think it's a good scale to work. It's not precisely 1/5 scale, but it's right around there. We're not going to get too caught up on scale and this kind of stuff at this point. This is very loose. We just want to be able to work and have some fun and learn together, okay? So you're gonna need a cutout like this. You're gonna need a skillet and your material. I already have this preheated, so my wax is warm and soft in there. It's not too hot, but it is hot. But see, I can touch it for a few seconds and it's not burning. So you're gonna need your skillet, your wax melted in there, your clay, whatever you call it. And we're gonna need an alcohol torch that we talked about in the previous video. It's this tool here, okay? And we're gonna use a propane torch as well. Now that we're talking about torches, I just want to bring the fact that we are working with a hot material, right? A warm material or hot. So be careful when you're working around wax or hot clay to the point that it melts, because it can burn you very easily. So please be very careful. If you are a young man or young woman, just make sure you have your parents help you out, have some help, Okay, don't go doing this kind of thing on your own. Have some supervision if you can, just to be on the safe side. It's always nice to have an adult around when you're working with fire and hot materials. Just for precaution, I like to have I've said this before in previous videos, I like to have a fire extinguisher in case something happens. You know, we're going to be working with fire here, and then if you bump into it accidentally, it can spread the alcohol, and then all of a sudden you have fire on your table, and it's extremely dangerous. But you just have to be cautious and make sure you are aware of where your fire source is the whole time, if it's lit, if it's not. And if you're not using, I always recommend just, you know, put it out. Don't leave it burning. If you're not using it, don't need to waste your alcohol, and no need to leave it burning, because you can bump into it accidentally and cause a fire. So that's why we have a fire extinguisher here, to be safe. You're also going to need a metal tool, this kind of like this one right here. Okay, it's just for, you know, shaping, and that's why we're going to use the fire to warm the tool under the fire here, and then we're going to just shape it as we go. What else you're going to need? So far that's all you need. And then again, I hope you watched the previous video. This is going to be the video number 1, which is the video that we're going to start the sculpture. Okay. So I have my wax going on over here. Let's see. It was pretty warm. So let me see if it has cooled a little. I don't want to go too crazy. So always touch. Just be careful when you. It's very soft still. So I want to take a look at it and see how it behaves. I bought the hard version because we're not gonna have an armature on this sculpture. Okay, so that's the reason why I decided to go with a hot version, a hard version of the material instead of soft. But I can see that it's not too warm, and it's very easy to work with right now. So that's what I'm doing now, just testing it out. It's a little too warm. Let me turn let me turn it down a little bit here. And this is what we do. We're just gonna grab a little bit of the material. It is too hot to work with right now. See, it's not really working as clay. It's kind of breaking up on me right now. So again, I have never worked with this material, so it'll be fun to learn together. So, but it feels like it has a good consistency once it cools off a little, and it has a good, you know, it does glue to itself very nicely. So what we do, the first step of this, we're not going to worry about pose, we're not going to worry about any of that. This time around, all we're worrying is about getting the proportion right. Okay, getting the length of the sculpture, the length of the arms and legs and torso. So that's all we're doing. So let me get a little bit more here. I'm going to use a spatula here. It's starting to cool off, so let me mix it up a little bit here to cool it a little bit faster. Yeah, it's too hot, so it's too soft at this point, but that's okay. Okay, let's try to get this much here. See if we can. It's not too hot to the touch, but it's too hot, too warm, and it's not firm enough. So what I'll do, I'm just gonna try to work around my hands here. Oops. See, it's a little too warm still. So try to bring it all back together. And hopefully this will stand on its own, like this clay will be firm enough to stand on its own. That's why I like to use gloves when I'm working with this kind of thing, that way it's not getting the stickiness on my hands. But as it cools off, it gets easier to work with. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go ahead, and this is what we're gonna do for a start. We're just gonna come here, whatever's on the table, just put it back on the clay. Make sure your table is clean when you're doing this. That way you're not picking up all kinds of, you know, debris around your table and putting on your clay. So what we're gonna do now, basically, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna go ahead and lay it right here, and we're just gonna trace around it, okay? This is what we wanna try to do. We wanna try to trace the figure this time. Okay, so you just use your tool to try to stay within the lines here of the figure, okay? It doesn't have to be super precise, but don't go off too much. Try to stay within the size of the figure here. Okay, so this is what we're doing here. I'm just trying to stay around the printout that we did. It's still soft, it's still warm and soft, so it gives me little time. See, if it starts crumbling like it is right now, that's when we use the tool here. Just get your alcohol torch going. Just warm up your tool for a minute or two, for a few seconds, I mean, under the fire, and then it will slide. See, now it's sliding on top of the material instead of crumbling it. Okay, so let's get a little bit more here. I hope this material adheres to itself nicely. So same thing, warm up on the fire for a little bit. And then you just go back to your lines here. Try to stay in the lines so we can get the size right. Okay. There we go. Good. So warm it up a bit. See, it comes off the tool and it stays there. And you can kind of just do a little bit of a round shape here if you want. No need. I'm just trying to do something that will look a little bit... We're not worried about anatomy at this point. Don't worry about any of that, okay? At this point, all we're doing is tracing the shape of the size, the shapes, you know, like make sure you have your knee in the right position. You can also do a little mark like this if you'd like, so you know, okay, this is where my knee is. Remember, once we remove the clay from the once we remove the clay from the cutout, okay? Just make sure I'm not have the fire on my lamp right here. Okay, there you go, we're good. So warm up the tool for a few seconds under the fire and shape it up a little. Let's get a little bit more of a material here. So far, I'm liking this material, not bad at all. It will be tricky for me to figure out what's the right temperature to work with, but because again, I've never worked with this material. But look, I'm just gonna go ahead and get a chunk here. I'll get some of from the top because it's a little cooler on the top. Here we go. Let's do this. Let's get this. And I stopped right on the ankle right there. It's not the ideal temperature to work with yet, but we'll do it. We'll speed things up here because we're doing the video, so always go ahead and grab whatever fell on your table. It's a little messy. Sorry, I don't want my hands are right in front of what we're doing. So here we go. I hope you guys can see well what I'm doing with the... I hope the camera is picking up well what I'm doing. Okay, so now that it's a little soft and still, like, you know, good. It's not too hard, not too soft. It's still a little warm. Just do a little roll like this, and let's do the next leg. Again, you just want to go to the edge here, work with your hands. Okay. Warm up the tool real quick, and right around here. Again, don't worry about anatomy at this point. All we're doing is making a shadow of the printout, trying to make sure we have the same size. Okay, we'll get a little bit more here. It's interesting. Hopefully y'all like this material to work with, because I'm used to monster clay and wax mixed together, but I'm gonna try not to change the formula on this one. We're gonna go pure Castellane on this one and see how it goes. But whatever clay you were able to get your hands on should be the same idea, as long as you have a hard version of the material. Okay, you just don't want to have soft, because then you will need an armature, and that's not what we're doing here. So now, because it just cooled off a little bit here, I'm just gonna warm up on the fire like that real quick, just so I have good connection there. Okay, so I just warmed up on the fire for a little bit, and now I'm going down here trying to get the shape right. I hope you guys can see there what we're doing. Let me get this lid out of the way real quick. There we go. So hopefully you guys can see what I am doing there. Bring the fire a little closer to me. Always be careful. Be aware of your fire source so you don't cause any accidents. Again, I'm not worried about anatomy here. This is just so it's not too rough. But all I'm doing is just going around the cutout here, keeping it in the same shape, in the same, you know, tracing it nicely. That's all I'm trying to do at this point. We're not gonna put his feet just yet, so we're gonna get the legs ready. I'm gonna say it again, I don't want these videos to be too long, so we may stop it at 45 minutes, an hour maximum if we're doing good progress. Okay, but for the most part, I just want the videos to be short if we can help it, because two videos that are too long is too hard to watch, I think. It can get boring, right? But we're gonna use our patience, and again, I think it's very, very important for someone that is learning to watch from every stage, right, from beginning to end. That way you really see, okay, I know exactly all the steps that I have to do. So we're not going to try to skip anything. We're going to get all on camera. That way you guys can have a good idea of sculpting is not the way I do it. So right here, I'm just going to do a little cut, meaning I know where my knees are, just, you know, just for my own reference. And I'm good with the legs for this at this point. I'm not going to do anything else. I didn't worry about any anatomy. Let's just get a little bit more of the material here. Ooh, it's too hot. It's very hot. So let's go ahead and come here. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and work on his torso real quick. Same thing again. It's a little bit cold on this area here. Okay, so right here around his waist, the clay already got a little bit hard, so I'm gonna warm up this clay right here, let it be shiny, and then go ahead and just connect it like that, just to have a good fusion in that joint. But then again, very carefully spread your material slowly, stay within the lines as much as you can, and that's good there. And then right here, not worrying about anatomy at all. All I'm doing is remember where my legs are. So I just do this. Okay? Just so I remember where my legs are. Let me show you guys. Right there. Okay? Let's grab a little bit more. This is crazy. Yep, it is very messy. I didn't think it was gonna be this messy, but I guess this material is messy. But that's okay. I told you guys I have a pound, 2.5 pounds. It is a lot. I can tell already. We're not gonna use. Maybe we're gonna use half of that. We'll see. So again, it's still a little warm here, but always warm up the edge of your clay under the fire here, just so you have a good fusion when you adding on to it. So try to stay around here in the neck. Okay, there you go. All right, this is great. It's going good. So here we go. Okay, that's pretty good. I'll show you guys one little thing that I'm gonna do here. If I can get a nice little softer piece, not too cold, not too hot. Right here, we're gonna go all the way to the shoulder, right there, like that. Okay, so just go to your shoulder, right there. Let's see if I can clean my glove. This clay is messy as heck. I'm sorry, I didn't think this clay was going to be this messy. Again, I've never worked with this material, first time. So I'm learning how it behaves. I want to say a quick thing. Again, if you didn't get this particular clay, don't worry. As long as you got a hard clay, you should be fine. If it's too soft, then you do need an armature. But if it's hard, you're going to be okay. And I want to say that a lot of people say, what kind of clay are you using, or what kind of, material? But in truth is, it doesn't really matter what you're using, because the clay is not what's going to make the sculpture come to life. You are the one that is going to work on it and make it happen. So just choose a material that you like, that you're happy with. To follow this kind of process, it has to be hard. Okay, so going back here to the print now, and we're tracing. I'm just going to warm up a little bit more, and then I just want to round it up, just so I can have an idea where his chest is once we take this off the paper. Okay, you can kind of tell that this is like the chest right there, and I'll bring the picture up in a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right, let's get the arms going. So right now, I think I can do both arms with this much. Yeah, I think so. So what I'll do is just stretch it up. Once again, warm up under the fire here, get it all shiny and a little wet. Then you connect. That way it will be a good fusion right there. Okay. Okay, here we have our hand. Have an arm. Look, it's easy, isn't it? You're gonna get this, guys. It's just so easy, trust me. Anyone can do it. So warm up your tool real quick. Give it a good, make sure it blends, but keep that cut right there under the armpit if you can. That way you know where, your shoulder. It's right there in your armpit, right there. Doesn't have to be any better than this, guys. It's just the beginning. Put a little cut here so you know where your joints are on your arm, on the wrist here if you want, so you can mark. All right, let's do the other side. That's good. So again, warm up on the fire. Don't forget this step. And then you put it right on top there, like this, okay? And here we go again. I'm just tracing around the paper as much as I can, trying to keep around this shape. And then it's been right around almost 30 minutes that we've been on this. So it hasn't been that long, right? And we're doing good progress today. Okay, so it goes right there. Just, you know, do a nice joint. Again, try to keep the armpit right there if you can. And again, I'll bring it up. Oh. All right, so we have both arms, the torso and the legs in place. Let's go ahead and do the head. Okay, so the head will be, I think this much will be enough. We're gonna do the same thing again. Just gonna do a little ball with your material. And then a little bit more, just a little bit more. Just, you know, kind of eyeball it for, yeah, that should be enough. So all I'm doing here is getting the material together real quick as a ball. And now, here we go. Just do like an oval shape if you can. Okay, nothing, don't worry about anatomy, just an oval shape like this. Cool? Again, warm up the bottom of it because you're gonna make contact right there. Put it down and trace it again. Just cover his face there. That's good. All right. Okay. So this looks good, guys. I'm happy so far. I'm liking this material. I wasn't. Let me get my fire. Actually, let's do this before I put out the fire. Let's just get the tool warmed up again here. Maybe I should have some music on the background, some calming music or whatever, but maybe next. Okay, so all I'm doing here is making sure I do a little bit more of a melting and connecting. Nothing worried about. You don't have to worry about anatomy. Don't worry about anatomy. Put out this. Here we go. So this is what we have. Okay. So we have pretty much a trace. We just traced the figure with the clay. We didn't put any feet, but we can put the feet now. Look, it comes out very easily. It's already getting hard. It's still soft, so be careful, okay? If you doing yours there, so, ooh, got some paper there. That's okay, no big deal. So here's our Ultraman. Boom. All right. So let's try to go ahead and put some feet on him. All right. So let's get a little bit of clay. And let's see if this is going to stand up on its own. I think it will. Again, don't worry about getting any shapes right. There's no need to get any shape right here. Do a little wide feet. Just do this first, get a flat area. Look, I didn't worry about anything. All I'm doing is putting a little bit of clay here and just doing whatever here. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm just doing whatever. Like no worries about anatomy, okay? Just worry about making a little lump. Get a little bit more here. I'm liking this material so far. It is messy on the hand, I can tell. It's really messy. Whatever I worked with before is not this messy at all, but I kind of like it. I think this works nice. I mean, I like it when it gets a little cooler. The consistency is really good. So same thing here, guys. Put the other feet next to it. Just a little oval shape at first. Push it down and put a little, push it up a little like this. Look, I'm gonna show you guys what I did. See, there's no worries about any anatomy at this point. There are my feet. There are the feet right now. Okay, no need to be fancy or anything. Just do this for now. And then what we're gonna do, lift your, now we're gonna put it in here right like this, okay? So bring it together a little bit. And what we're gonna do is let's add a little bit more of material right here. But for that, we need to get the fire going again. So get the fire going one more time. And then put the little cutout, the little trace on the fire for a minute just to melt a little. Same thing with this one, and put it right there. Boom. This is very delicate right now, so be very careful, okay? It's not very firm, so I'm just being very gentle, because look, on the other side it's completely flat, okay? So after we did that, go ahead, warm up here your feet, warm up the bottom there of the ankle, and bring it together. Boom. Try to bring it together, okay? Nothing fancy, doesn't have to be precise. Once again, we're just in the beginning. It does not have to be anything precise. Warm up this one as well, and do the same thing on the other side here. Just warm it up and bring it together like that. So we got him some feet going. Okay, try to make your figure stand if you can. If it's too warm, hold on to it, let it cool off. Don't let go of it. I can tell it's a little too soft still, but that's okay. What I want to do while it's still soft, I'm going to bring them off the table real quick, and I'm just going to do a little bit of fire. Actually, I'm going to use the propane because I need to buy a new alcohol torch. So I'm just going to use the propane and kind of like melt a little bit around the joint here, so we have a good connection between the feet and the ankles. Okay, that's good enough for now. While that part there is kind of cooling off, turn your figure around and just go around the areas that, oops, see, too much, you burned. So just go around the areas that you can melt a little and help on the fusion there. Warm up a little. Use your finger if needed. Wow, it melts extremely fast, this wax. Faster than I would like, but that's okay. I'm just trying to get a better fusion there. Alright, so let's go ahead and put him standing. Again, I didn't worry about anything, did I? I didn't worry about any anatomy. All I did was trace the picture that we have, and this is what we came up with. Let me put this out of the way. Okay, here we go. Sorry, I know I'm in front of the camera right now. Just trying to put this stuff away. There you go. There you go, guys. Here's our beginning. This is the beginning of your sculpture, okay? Nothing fancy. It took us 35-40 minutes, and we have an idea already of what we're doing. This is still soft, but it's getting hard. So make sure you see, no armature needed, so that was nice. Okay, so there we go. We did it. So we have the size. That's the size that I want. I don't want anything bigger than this. This will be a good size. It'll be nice to mold. It will be nice to cast. It will be nice to paint it afterwards. It will be so cool. You guys are gonna love it. So there you go. It's still warm. Work around it. Make sure it cools off in a position that the figure can stand on its own for now. Okay. These are very delicate areas right here because they're thin. Right now they're very thick, but they will be thin later. So it needs to have good fusion. Okay, I think I'm happy with this. And if we put our figure right behind it, okay, it's pretty much the right size. We can make it bigger later. We can just add more to the legs or to the waist if we need. But for now, I'm happy. I think this is good. I'm gonna let it cool off. Use the fire one more time here around the ankle, just to give it a good fusion there. And that's it. I think he's gonna stay. I hope so. There you go. So that's it, guys. It's been almost 40 minutes now, maybe a little more, a little less. I don't know for sure, but I just wanted to do the first class. The classes aren't going to be too long because we don't want it to be too long. I'm not going to take any further than this. This is where we're going to go with right now. I'm pleased with the idea. I have a figure, I have the limbs, I have the head, feet, and then I'll show you guys what we're going to do next. Okay, so this is it for now. Go ahead, get to this stage with me, and we'll see you on the next video. We'll go back and keep going on this guy here. I'm going to lay it flat to let it cool off, and then I'll come back later. Okay, once again, thank you very much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed the first part. There'll be more to come. Just keep tuned. Once again, if you can be a patron and help me out and donate and contribute, I will greatly appreciate it. Anything you can help with is greatly appreciated. Thank you one more time, and we'll see you guys on the next video, video lesson 2. All right, thank you everyone. I appreciate it. Don't forget to share the video, tell your friends about it, your sculptor friends that are excited about it or like this kind of thing. Please share, like, comment, ask me questions. I'll be glad to work with you and answer as many questions as I can. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next class. Bye now.